As you can see, the car's still here. The windshield is still not in. We've kind of changed plans since the last video. So originally I took it down to a guy that has done this before for these cars. And they were putting like this big, huge seal on there, which this is really meant to just glue in as is and have a kind of I don't know what they call it, no reveal or zero reveal or whatever it's called. So in any case, I got this side in. You can see like it's pushed in, and there's, nice little gap there. But down here it's pinching. And then over here, I can't even get it in the car. Like it's literally sticking out. So this needs to be all ground down or equal on both sides or however you do it. So we've kind of switched gears. So what happened is I had another guy come out that could do the grinding because the original guy couldn't do the grinding. And he's like, well, I know how to do this stuff, but I don't have the tools, but I know a guy who has the tools. I'm like, okay, so then I'll call that guy up. And then that guy came out. And so this has been going on for like a week straight of like appointments and like blowing off work to like just get this done. And okay, I'll cancel work and come over here and make sure this is, I'm here so you could come by and check out the car. It's just been brutal. Because I just don't have enough time in the day. Like it should just glue in and I should be done. But that's never been how this car is. So, and I really wanted to give the one guy the business because he did all the referrals but didn't have the tools, and he seemed like he was really, really passionate guy who knows what's going on. But at the end of the day, gluing it in at the last second is like no big deal. So, and the guy has to come out here and custom fit the windshield. So it's like, screw it. I guess I'll just have the one guy do it. So is what it is. I try to do the right thing when I can, but it's kind of pointless and paying two people for the same job. So, so that's what's going on there. The back window pretty much fits. Now, here's a comment that was brought up to me, and I think it's a fair comment that everybody should hear. So with this type of glass, and the way that I've done the upholstery that wraps around the inside, and other factors, and that the fact that I had to grind this glass down, there's all these like custom special things going on. You have two options. I forgot what the second one's like, butyl something rubber or something like that. It's like almost like a sticky tape, and then the other one is urethane, and I believe it's urethane. And so anyways, the typical is nobody uses the butyl anymore. They all use urethane. The problem with that on this glass is, and because of the upholstery and all the other things, is if this glass ever got a chip or cracked or whatever, that urethane is going to be so stuck on because it's pretty hardcore that getting it off is going to chew up the leather. It's going to possibly pull the paint off the car. There's like all sorts of things that could go wrong if you go with the hardcore normal stuff that everybody uses because it's all the modern crazy thing. Where if you go with the butyl tape, butyl rubber, whatever it's called, and sorry, I don't have that information, but it's all new to me. You could at least just use a heat gun and then pull the windshield out and put in a new one. So we're thinking about down the line, like what the options are and what's going to make it easy. So I'm down with that. I think that's a good idea. So makes sense to me. The other thing is the guy made a comment about, well, people have no problem, spending their $100,000 and $20,000 on a high-end transmission and all this stuff. And then they come to the windows and doors and they just slap it together and they're driving down the street and it's a horrible experience because it's just whistling and wind and all this stuff going down. It's like, don't throw it away at the last second. Do the windows right. Like, okay. And at this point, what's going on in my mind is just put the window in. I don't need to hear anything. Like, I just want to move forward, right? So I'm frustrated. And he's talking about this other stuff, and everything he was saying was totally fair game. It's just I wasn't in a mood to hear it, right? Because I'm taking a day off of work, I'm doing all this stuff, and I'm still not getting anywhere because obviously the glass isn't here. That was just the consulting, part of it. So I got to wait a few weeks before he could come back and do this because he's booked up. So all good. I'm just telling my story of me and my attitude. And like for instance, with this car, when you close this, I mean, there's a big 2-inch gap sitting here that's just wind open. He's like, we could do a block of whatever it is, the I don't know if it's the butyl or whatever, but a block of whatever, some kind of epoxy that would go in there that would be black and like make that all seal up. And then the other cool option was he was kind of talking about the old Monte Carlos, and there was another model, maybe Eldorado. Back in the days, they didn't have a frame on their window either. But instead of just having this one press up against, they actually had like a double seal. And so the window would squish into this seal and be against the other seal. And so now you're really, really nice and tight and getting a good seal. And even if the window is not fully 100% pressed, because you have to have a lot of pressure for this to press, as long as it's pushed into here, then you're getting a really, really good seal. And so you could have that moon seal going here and really just seal this car up so you're having a great, experience in the car. So again, the more he talked, the more I was like, oh man, this guy's making sense. Just put the windshield in. But he's making sense. Just put the windshield in, So we got some ideas that we're going to do. We're going to tweak this out. So that being said, we're going to get the doors aligned better, get things going, and then when he comes back, hopefully he could help me, do all the rest of it, get the front and back in, and help kind of clean up the side windows and get this to look a little better, and go from there. All right, so my neighbor came over, Bob, and he helped me move my pins. Now, one of the problems with moving the pins that hold the door in is when you go to move it, it could turn and just scrape your paint and like just destroy your paint job. So you have to have two people to try to do it. And now you can see I'm getting like a really, really good, that belt line is coming straight across. And so now I feel like I'm in a situation where I could, oh, hey, check it out. Another piece. I'm in a situation where I could actually get my windows aligned because the doors are finally aligned and in position. So same thing over here. You saw me do the alignment on my own first, which kind of got the door where it needed to go. But then the problem is once you got the door and the pin, what would happen is the pin was a little low, and so it kind of forced the door down, which of course is not a good thing. So we're able to get that pin a little higher, and now when the door snaps on there, it goes right where it's supposed to go. And the other option, or the other issue I was having, is this was really twisted. So this was pinned here, and this was pinned here, like, twisted like that. And so I've been working on kind of getting this to untwist, getting everything dialed in. So we're going to keep going on that. There's also on the other side, not this side, but see how this comes out right here? I got to trim some of that out so it's not scratching the glass. On the other side, it's a lot worse. So a few little nuances that I missed before, but and then I'm going to have Greg make some kind of angle iron in here to cover all this up. But you know, maybe by the end of the day I could get all the stops on the door. I'm trying not to take the door apart to put the stops in. I'm going to try to use a angle drill bit, like an angle device, so I could get in there. Because I'm just tired of taking stuff apart and putting it back together, and once you do that, you misalign everything anyways, and so like you're just working against yourself, and I'm tired of doing that. So we're gonna see if we could do it while it's in the door. Keep going. All right, so after all that work, and you can see we got, oh, come on, a little focus. You can see we got a little bolt in there. We were able to put everything in as the manual said. However, I did it inside the door, which was no problem. With two people, it was easy to do, which was great because I didn't have to realign or do anything. So after all said and done, both sides are 1/16 of an inch. The window comes up too far, 1/16 of an inch, which, you know, imagine that. Imagine that it didn't go as planned. So what I'm now doing is, you saw that the screw was sticking out a little extra. So there's some thread to actually put something else on. So my idea is imagine you got the bolt sticking out that way, and there's the nut on the bolt. So imagine that's the nut that's already in the car, and I'm just going to add this 1/16 of an inch piece of metal, cut this, cut that, and then bolt it on from the other side like that, and then we have our extra 1/16 of an inch. Now the other side needs about double the thickness. So I could do it where I double it or I just offset it, but I kind of want it to where it runs into solidness and it's not like something that will move over time or something like that, or get jacked up. So we'll see. And the one option is I could weld two pieces together. The other option is I could actually silicone two pieces together. And since it's always hitting this side, silicone, when there's no air in between stuff, it is rock solid. And so that could be an option to where I just do the same exact thing and then just silicone, laminate, basically laminate another piece of metal on. So that's the idea. And then I have to, of course, get it on there and screw it on. And these are a little thick, so I'd have to trim it vertically, you know, just cut it down this way. So we're going to see what we could do, but man, jeez. Can I just be done, please? Can I just be done? Well, that was a decent amount of work, but I finally got everything to work. Dialed in. I got a nice little gap going across. And it's all bolted in. Didn't have to do any welding, so that's cool. I didn't have to do any special glue, Darylin. Just had to add in my little bumper that goes underneath, and it works perfectly. So that's all dialed in. Windshield is coming this a few days from now, so that's going to go in. It's going to be awesome. He's going to do the back, and then we're going to discuss the windows, but at least I got the doors aligned. I got the windows aligned. And then I just have to get the car down so we could verify the door panels and do the double stitch gray, just like the hard top. Might have to verify whether we need to shrink some of the little leather pieces that stuff in to hide the bolts. And and then the last thing we need to do is put in our metal pieces to get this all done. So, and then I still got to put the panel bond on for the bolts that hold the side covers on. So need to do that also, and need to put the prop rod in. And that's all she wrote. I ain't doing no more. Then it's done and it's finished. So crazy times, but I'm happy it's coming to a close here. So I also wanted to say, a long time ago, I was saying that I got this, cool project that is going to be really cool for the release of the car. And I haven't mentioned anything since, just because all I've been doing is car, get it done, get it done. But I got what I think is going to be somewhat of a big kind of reveal thing going on. And probably people will be like, what? Be kind of crazy. So hopefully that's still true. I've been working on one phase of it for about 6 months, and the other phase has taken about 3 months. And hopefully it all lines up when I go to release the car, but that's what we're doing. Not saying any more, but it's going to be something cool coming down the pike. And so we'll just kind of see where it goes. But until next time, have a great day.